Let's continue our conversation with Ambassador James Woolsey, checking in from Washington. He, of course, the former director of Central Intelligence. Joining us at the anchor desk in our South Florida Newsmax News Center, Fred Rustmann. Fred's a former CIA case officer, and he's the author of the novel, The Case Officer. Fred's also founder and chairman of the CTC International Group. Gentlemen, to you both, our thanks. Ambassador, to what the president had to say. Jim, was he trying to have it both ways during those public interviews?
It sort of sounds that way. I won't impute motives to him, but it does ring of trying to have it both ways, I think.
Fred, I want to turn to you now. I believe during previous days you actually trained some folks at the CIA Training Center. What does a report like this do to CIA recruiting efforts today?
You know, I'm aghast at something like this. The CIA is the tip of the spear. We are out there, we're fighting right alongside of our military. Our military is beloved. Everybody talks about how great the military is, and the CIA, who is out there risking its lives every day, gets treated this way. This is just a political broadside in the waning days of the Democratic-controlled Senate. That's all it is, and it's going to hurt.
It is going to hurt recruiting. We look back to the 1970s, the Church Committee report, all those public hearings. Is this as damaging as what the Church Committee did?
I don't think anything could be as damaging as the Church and Pike committees in the mid-70s. That was horrible. It destroyed a whole culture of the agency. It changed the agency forever. This is a nasty, nasty attack, and it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not. There's nothing good to be said for this. There's no reason to do this to us.
Fair enough. Let's turn to Ambassador Woolsey again. Jim, one of your successors as DCI, Mike Hayden, has shared publicly the notion that our agents and our intelligence officers may become timid. And of course, in the days after 9/11, there were critics saying, gee, our intelligence agencies did not act boldly to protect us. Do you fear this notion of timidity or a chilling effect will be visited upon Central Intelligence?
Yes, I do. I think Mike's right on that, as he is on most things. I mean, everybody was jumping up and down about not connecting the dots. And the dots were very hard to find. And they're going to be even harder to find if we undercut the effectiveness of our intelligence officers as this public report does. As I said, it's one thing to have disputes about this in private, and different sides, different views ought to be represented so we can sort out how to do it better next time. That's all fine. But to do it publicly is extremely damaging to the agency, and this will cost lives. I don't know exactly whose lives, of course, but this decision by the Senate Democrats to release this material publicly is, in my judgment, a very, very unwise decision.
Little more than a minute remains. Ambassador, let me ask you what I asked Fred. In terms of recruiting new people into the CIA, will this report put the brakes on that agent recruitment?
I suppose if you are a potential recruit who has several $100,000 sitting around ready to be spent on legal fees for repeated investigations when you're following orders, and as these individuals were, you are doing something that the Attorney General's office has put out a memo saying it is within the law to do it. But you still may need hundreds of thousands, if not more, in legal fees, given the way this situation is being run.
Point well taken. Jim Woolsey, we thank you for joining us from Washington, D.C. Fred Rustmann, we're going to ask you to stick around. Again, the name of Fred's book is The Case Officer. You see it right there. And Fred will metaphorically crack open that book as we continue to talk about this CIA report. Thanks for hanging in. You hang in with us too. There is more straight ahead on this edition of America's Forum.